Hello everyone, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video we're doing another prospect report, the final one before the All-Star break. We'll do one during the All-Star break to kind of wrap up the first half stats and talk about some top performers and some guys who could be on the lookout for a promotion. But we do have some exciting news in terms of promotions, as Everson Pereira was called up earlier this afternoon. He played his first AAA game and he started off his AAA season with a bang. We'll talk about that and more in a few, but before we do that, we want to make sure you guys check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course our content on this YouTube page. We have the audio version of this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you want to check that out, and we have the written version of this report on Empire Sports Media. As always, your one-stop shop for New York sports content. And without further ado, let's get started with today's report. Let's get it started with the Eastern League Player of the Week, and that's Tyler Hardman, the Somerset Patriots third baseman. Tyler Hardman entered this week with just 2 career multi-homer games, and he doubled that total and then set a career high for home runs in a game with a 3 home run performance, and he's been absolutely on fire. He's one of the best power hitters in all of AA, and amongst hitters in the Eastern League, he's 1st in home runs, 4th in slugging percentage, and 9th in WRC+. So far in the year, he's showing the Yankees he has plenty of power, and after leading the organization last year in home runs with 22, Hardman's on track to crush that number from last year and potentially get a Scranton call-up at some point in the summer. He's someone who has a sure glove at third base. He put together a really strong performance in the Arizona Fall League, and with the Yankees' lack of production at third base over the last few years, the Yankees could view him as a long-term solution and as someone who can help their offense in 2024. I don't view Hardman as someone who's a realistic 2023 option despite the Yankees' struggles at third base, as I think they'd rather go externally than go for a guy who has a high strikeout rate in AA right now and still has some things he'd like to work on before he's even major league ready. I find Hardman as a great example of the Yankees farm system, as they're not an organization with top heavy prospects. You have Jason Dominguez, you have Austin Wells, but after that it's a lot of strong performing players who aren't extremely well known, but are certainly guys who, if you pay attention to the Yankees farm system, if you're paying attention to minor league circles, are guys that are super impressive and could become major leaguers at some point in the near future. Moving a level down to high A, we have Yankees second round pick from last year's draft, Drew Thorpe. His outing was cut short by inclement weather, but he still put together a really strong performance and lowered his ERA to 2.33 on the season as he tossed 5 scoreless frames and struck out 8 batters in the process. Thorpe has been on an absolute tear in his last 5 starts, tossing 33 2/3 innings pitched, striking out 42 batters in the process, and allowing just 1 run, holding batters to a 142 average. Among qualified pitchers at the high A level, he's arguably the best one, as he's 5th in ERA, 3rd in innings pitched, 5th in ground ball rate, 2nd in swinging strike rate, 1st in strikeouts, and 4th in strikeout to walk rate. He does an excellent job of pitching deep into games, generating soft contact, getting whiffs, and attacking the strike zone. He struggled with command in his first 5 starts, but after that, he's walked just 13 batters in his past 8 starts, and his ability to attack the strike zone has made him so effective because it allows him to pitch deeper into games, and it allows him to go through the order multiple times without slowing down. His pitchability is unmatched by anyone really outside of Richard Fitz in the organization, and his pitch arsenal bodes well in terms of generating soft contact and getting whiffs as he continues to climb through the farm system. He possesses a low 90s fastball that sits between 91 to 93 miles an hour with 18 inches of induced vertical break, and he's flashed the ability to hit 95 in the past. He has great extension on the pitch that allows him to play that fastball up a little bit, and it sets up his amazing changeup that's arguably his best pitch. With nearly 13 inches of horizontal run coupled with great vertical drop that creates a vertical separation tunnel between the fastball and changeup, it allows him to go out and get a lot of swings and misses and a lot of soft contact. He also possesses a cutter, slider, and sweeper, and that variety of pitches allows him to be extremely deceptive and hard to predict for other hitters. He doesn't have the overpowering stuff that you'd imagine for someone as dominant as Thorpe has been, but his command and movement have allowed him to cruise through lineups, and his stuff plays multiple times through the order, limiting hard contact and generating plenty of swings and misses. I anticipate at some point in the second half we'll get a promotion to AA, and who knows, maybe we see him in AAA in 2024, and maybe we see him in Major League Baseball in 2024 with the way he's pitching right now. Speaking of promotions, we have Everson Pereira, who made his AAA debut on July 4th, the day he was called up, and in his very first at-bat, he launched a 426-foot blast with a 111.4 mile per hour exit velocity, and he'd also add on a 109 mile per hour single on top of that. Pereira's consistently shown that he has an excellent ability to consistently reach high exit velocities, as in the small sample size we saw him in spring training, he averaged 99.8 miles per hour for his exit velocity. hitting 308 with an OBP north of 400, although he did suffer from some strikeout issues, but you could chalk that up to him adjusting to live pitching again. There is some notable swing and miss in his game, but couple that with great power and great speed, and you suddenly don't care as much about the strikeout percentage. He's been phenomenal in AA thus far, with 15 home runs in 75 games, adding on 14 doubles and 4 triples as well, and he has an absolutely explosive bat. He excels in the power department with a 529 slugging percentage, in the on-base department with a 354 on-base rate, and he also hits for a decently high average as he hit 288 in those 75 games played. He got off to a slow start in 2022 when he got promoted to AA, which is expected, as he hit just 226 in the first 13 games he played there, but he adjusted super quickly, finished the season with a 128 WRC plus, as he slugged 667 in the final games before getting hurt, and he carried that momentum into 2023, where he posted a 143 WRC plus and increased his walk rate from 7.3% to 10.3%. Over the course of the final 62 games he played at the AA level, the 22-year-old outfielder posted a 152 WRC plus and cut his strikeout rate down to a more manageable 27.6%. With a 946 OPS in that time span, the Yankees made the right decision in promoting him, and he's someone that I think the Yankees could have as an impact bat at least in 2024. All of this depends on how well he plays at AAA, but with Harrison Bader hitting free agency and his injury issues even if the Yankees were to bring him back, and the fact that the Yankees have a massive question mark in left field, I think he could fight for a job in 2024. He passed Jason Dominguez on the depth chart as well, as he's already on the 40-man roster and is already in AAA. And when we saw Anthony Volpe leapfrog Oswald Peraza last year, I do believe that Everson Pereira is more major league ready and just a better hitter than Oswald Peraza was at that point in time. Though again, his performance in AAA will determine whether he has a chance to fight for a starting spot in spring training next year. He's an extremely exciting prospect, and while I know that the Yankees are going to be looking to move some prospects for more major league proven talent as they look to help the major league team, I really hope that they hold on to Everson Pereira, especially considering that they've really struggled in terms of getting offense from their position core. They're one of the oldest position cores in all of Major League Baseball, and I think Pereira can be a long-term piece of this team if he manages to stay healthy. Some other guys I wanted to shout out were guys like Augustin Ramirez, who was recently promoted to high A after an impressive performance with the Tampa Tarpons in A-ball. He's really underrated. He's not ranked on MLB Pipeline's top 30 prospects for the Yankees, and he has a higher walk rate than he does his strikeout rate, displaying strong contact skills, making great swing decisions at the plate, and putting up some pretty good raw power numbers. He reached a 113.9 max exit velocity, which would have ranked in the 92nd percentile at the major league level, and he also has a 91.8 mile per hour average exit velocity. He's a great defensive catcher with 7.1 framing runs behind the dish, and while Austin Wells is the more prominent prospect and the better prospect between the two right now, Ramirez is definitely someone that I would consider right behind him, and clearly the second best catching prospect in the system. One of Ramirez's teammates in Tampa was Anthony Hall, who was the 4th round pick for the Yankees in the 2022 draft out of Oregon, and they knew they were getting a bat-first prospect in him, and while it took some time, he's finally finding his power stroke in Tampa. His stock has continued to rise after an amazing month of June where he put up a 144 WRC plus with 6 home runs in 21 games, but he's doing a lot of things really well that I think can sustain itself as he climbs through the minor leagues. He has a high sweet spot percentage at 38%, which is a measurement of how many times you reach a launch angle between 8 and 32 degrees on batted balls. He has a low chase rate at 23.9%, which means he's consistently swinging at good pitches to hit and he's laying off of bad ones. It allows him to BABIP at a really high clip, which is 331 on the season, and I think he's someone who will be in line for a higher promotion this year, though the Yankees are taking it slow with him, and it makes sense. He's someone who has struggled to find his swing, and I think that this is the right approach to take, even if it means it takes more time for him to get to the major leagues. That'll wrap up this week's prospect report, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in and showing us support. The support you guys have shown is why this series is continued, and why I get to continue to go out and make prospect content for ESM and Fireside Yankees. You guys have been great in that regard, and I really appreciate it. You guys can follow me at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter, and once again, remember to follow all of the socials. The links are in the description. We've got a Twitter, we've got a TikTok, an Instagram, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. The audio version again of this podcast is on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, and you guys know you can check out the written version of this report on Empire Sports Media. I'm Ryan Garcia, this is Fireside Yankees, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.